All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to some more almost all Dungeon Key Sandy in the week 3 of the Link to the Past Randomizer League Season 6. Today we have CrossKeese versus Rando Kids. Representing CrossKeese, we have Cine. Representing Rando Kids, we have Vextifer. My name is Tracy M. With me today is Blue Link. How you doing, Link?
Well, hello. I'm doing pretty good, and I'm excited for some more Key Sanity nonsense.
Yeah, it's certainly been an interesting week. I think every seed I've called has been a logical logical item in GT. It just happened to be that at least a couple of those items have been things like Hera big keys that we don't technically need. So we'll see what this one has to offer us.
Yeah, there's a lot that can go right and a lot more that can go wrong. So let's find out.
Yeah, as with any randomizer. But for those of you that maybe haven't seen any races this week, the A for almost means we do not have to do Castle Tower unless there's an item on the Lumberjack or unless we need it for Dark World. We instead have to do all the dungeons because the GT Big Key has been placed on the pedestal. So every seed is a ped seed, and take your pick whether or not that's chat's favorite week or chat's least favorite week. It's certainly been a discussion point. We do have differing starts. Sinhei just starting at the Sanctuary, and Vex wanting to see what's going on over here at the Uncle.
He did find a Turtle Rock small key in Link's house.
Yeah, somehow I think Sinhei will pick that up too. We'll see if the Uncle gives anything. I do find in Key Sanity modes, it's a little more likely you're going to see this Uncle start just in hopes of getting more resources, because with keys and maps and compasses in the item shuffle, you're not nearly as guaranteed to get the resources you need to do everything. In fact, there's that bomb drop for Vex is really, really nice to go into Kakariko with at least one bomb. Zine was trying to set himself to avoid the item, decides a heart container is worth picking up.
But just that one, not the first one he found.
No, that one's too far out of the way. And I've also seen a lot of this south to north check. Now for Vex, having that bomb means if the item on race game is something he wants, he will be able to just grab it. We'll probably check these 50-50 bushes in hopes of getting another bomb. He gets one, so 2 is not bad to go through. I was gonna kill this guard because that could drop another bomb because it's in that same prize pack. And Sinhei is gonna go straight for the back here in hopes of finding more bombs. Gets a small key to Misery Mire, which is one of the worst small keys. Mire small keys are logic only. It does potentially make routing better if you don't get a go mode Mire, but not great. Okay, Sinhei gonna go ahead and take the one bomb he has and just open up the bomb hut here.
Yeah, this is a nice place to refill on things.
Kind of slow, but it's guaranteed.
Unknown small key on the library.
Yeah, did you see what was on race game? I'm guessing it was nothing since we didn't pick it up.
Yeah, it was just a map. Probably not too useful.
No, that's probably too far out of the way, in my opinion, to go grab that map. Even if we cared about whether, maps and pendants and crystals, because of course we kind of don't care because we have to do all the dungeons anyway. But certainly when we don't care, like it's just, and it could be like Hyrule Castle or GT, which case the map is useless anyway. Do get a sword out of the chicken hut, so that's nice for Vex.
Yeah, very nice to happen early, and the 2 runners high-fiving on their way in and out of Chicken Hut.
No money for Bottle Vendor. Looks like Vex is gonna take his one bomb and go to the well.
Ooh, shiny.
And I see in chat, Dr. Earworm saying, I care more about maps in this mode than regular AD keys. And that's absolutely fair, because knowing those pendants is a lot more useful when you know you have to pick up that ped. Mirror and boots in the well, so that's a good set of pickups, and some bombs in the back, so that's good for Vex. He's going to be able to use those bombs in Blind's Hut, where Sinhei doesn't care, or he's at the max 10 bombs.
Yeah, it's nice that we don't have to spend money we don't have on bombs.
Yep. And no, it looks like no one's going to have enough money for the bottle vendor, so the runners are going to have to remember to come back and get that later. Some keys in... Oh, yeah, Thieves Town Big Key. That's an important one. We also got
Maybe
the Ice
thematically
Palace Big Key.
appropriate, too.
Ice Palace Big Key has the potential to become a fetch quest if you get it after Ice Palace, so good to have it before. And a cape.
That is one more piece towards Aga access, but
It
we would
is.
still need the 2 Castle Tower keys.
Yeah, I mean, if you get 2 Castle Tower keys and a lamp before you get Hammer and Glove, I'm just going. It also could be first item in Castle Tower is progression. And Vex wants to farm money for bottle vendors, so he is going to get it. Sinhei is going to skip it for now.
Yeah, it makes sense for Vextifer only having to make 1 extra trip for that requisite money.
Well, especially since he's going to want to go get this key that Sinhei is getting right now. Thieves Town Small is nice. We might actually be able to full complete Thieves Town the first time through. That doesn't happen every day. It depends on where that hammer is, but it does put all of Thieves Town in logic once we have the items to get there. Except, of course, the big chest.
Alright, let's see where our runners head now.
Looks like we're going to get a Sanctuary. Yeah, because Vex hasn't started here yet. Gets this compass. I don't think he's done the Lost Woods at all, so we'll probably see Bonk Rocks, Lost Woods, and maybe a Lumberjack check. Seeing it going into the South Shore area. Big key to Skullwoods. Okay. The ultimate fetch quest, big key in this mode. Skullwood's big key opens exactly 1 item. Nice to have it before we get the Dark World access, though. We won't have to come back for it.
Yeah, going back for that chest is a little bit of a walk.
And Cine is going to go give us a Gina and an early Desert Ledge check. I'm a fan of the Desert Ledge check when we have boots. Not so much a fan of it without. It's very, very slow. I'm guessing there was nothing on Lumberjack because I'm not seeing everybody go nuts in chat. I missed it.
I didn't catch that either.
Yeah, I watched it while I was watching Cine run around. Vex wants that heart. It was a compass. Yeah, we don't need that. I like compasses more than most, but, you know, it has to be... For me to choose to pick up a compass, it has to be pretty on path. That certainly is not. So if it's Aga for Dark World, and that still could happen if we see some small keys.
Alright, Sinhei heading on to Mini Moldorm Cave, and looks like Vextifer is following with the South Shore checks.
Yeah, we'll see if he also decides to do a Gina, or if he just goes straight to Mini Moldorm after this. Oh, we get a glove. Small key to ice, which is only logic purposes. Small key to GT, same thing. Small key to Skullwoods is nice. And a blue mail. That Skullwood small key is really nice, because now you don't have to worry about, do you steal the key to do the drop down area? Do you drop down? Do you, you know, the risk of being in Skullwood small key go mode is a thing. Okay, Vex also gonna go ahead and check Gina. Probably will scout the Desert Ledge as well. Now we're gonna get the Ice Rod Cave from Cine. Just a compass. And I think we're gonna get some amount of water walking here. We'll see if, could just do the man under the bridge, could do, the waterfall checks. I personally like to go over to the Zora area, scout the ledge, do the waterfall checks, and then, go back through the whirlpool and get the man under the bridge. We'll see what Cine has in mind. All right. Fortunately, that heart piece did not take away the water walk state. It did not give a refill. Is not going to check the ledge. We do get an ice rod out of that, so...
One very required ice rod.
Yeah.
And one
I mean,
fewer thing that we're going to be spending a late game hunt
yeah.
on.
Yeah, absolutely. Ice rod hunt's never fun. Hopefully Vex will also get that ice rod. And a lamp. Okay, so it'll take flippers to put agate in logic. But I am suspicious of the first chest in Castle Tower. So I could see doing a... Well, I would do back of escape first now that we have that glove. But I could definitely see doing a front of escape into first check Castle Tower type thing. That first chest at Castle Tower doesn't need the lamp, doesn't need any small keys. Now, Cine says, nope, I went to the eastern area. Green pendant is desert.
Yeah, that's worthwhile to know.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I think knowing your pendants is a lot more valuable than knowing your crystals in this mode. Just because of the pet aspect. Okay, hammer.
Alright,
just
so
missing
we
a
are
moon
just...
pearl now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still suspicious of that first chest of Castle Tower, but odds are we are not having a full-on Agassiz. Looks like Cine wants to go into Eastern.
Yeah, he thought about it and decided he is going to go. We're getting a fake flipper from Vextifer.
Yeah, this is interesting. Because he probably has got a water walk stored, so he's thinking of if you store a water walk, and then so what he's gonna do? No, he's got the water walk stored to get out of this spot. You could alternatively, if you had a moon pearl, you could do a fake flipper into the waterfall into a water walk for the ledge item. What this will do for Vex... Go ahead.
We just found the Swamp Small Key in Eastern on Cine's side.
That's going to be important. Could make a difference if Vex tries to wait for Big Key plus End or Bow to go into Eastern, and if those things are just in Swamp, for instance. But yeah, see, Vex now has this water walk. We'll be able to keep it out of this unless this gives him a refill. It does not. Gets his ice rod, and we'll probably save and quit checking the ledge. I kind of like the way Vex did this better. It's this extra little bit of information. Not a big difference. And it's just 20 rupees, so Cine not going to be caring about that item.
Unless somehow we come back with like 480 rupees and flippers and we
Yeah,
really
God,
need
that's
Sora.
terrible. Cine, I suspect, the one advantage for Cine here, we'll put it this way. 2 items over there instead of 1. If the Zora item is important, he may get back to it sooner.
So we are getting a look at Back of Escape from Vextifer.
Oh, hey, we can check Sicket. Oh, that hook shot is nice. So a lot of mountain stuff that Vex can do. Still, none of it's going to be in logic, though, until we get flippers to make that lamp in logic. But I think that's what Vex is going to do next. I am still suspicious of that Castle Tower check, though.
Looks
We're
like
going to
Vextifer's...
do Sick Kid first, I guess.
Yeah, makes sense.
Sick Kid first. Do the in-logic thing. Before, wait. Bottle was also behind? No, Bottle was somewhere else. I don't remember where that bottle was and whether it was...
that was Back of Escape, so just behind the books.
Okay, there we go.
And that's our first pod small from our Sick Kid friend.
Well, we're going to need a few of those. Okay, now Back of Escape for C-Day. Yeah, like I said, I'm suspicious that first castle tower check, it could be flippers to make this mountain check in logic, but we do need those flippers. Could also be Moon
Interesting.
Pearl to get us Dark World.
So having that hook shot, Vextifer is going to go up the mountain, but he does not have the hammer.
Right.
But he can still get to Hera because he has the mirror.
Yeah. The hammer is going to be more of a big deal as we get closer to, well, once we get a Moon Pearl, actually. Cine hasn't done any of the escape stuff, has not done Uncle, so I suspect we're going to get front of escape from him. There's another Ganon's Tower small key. With 2, you're going to be able to search out anything you need to search out in the basement and still be able to make the climb, so 2 is good to have. It also means if you don't have to search out anything in Ganon's Tower, you don't actually have to pick up any of the keys in the tower, so 2 is a nice number. Heart container that we're never picking up. Looks like we're going to do Hera before we do East Mountain. Alright, the one front of escape item that is in logic. Coming up for Cine.
And Vextifer turning up a completely useless map of Hyrule Castle. Oh, there's the flippers!
There's the flippers to put the lamp in logic. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. It felt like those flippers were going to be available somewhere. A big key to Hera in Hera. Gotta love it.
Well, at least we don't have to leave the big chest behind now.
Yeah. Can't do the basement, but, like, I doubt Vex is all upset about not being able to do the basement. We get an out-of-logic map for Ice Palace from Cine. These 2 checks will not be in logic until we find the Hyrule Castle small key. Looks like that the only thing in Hera is that big key so far. And also going to point out, our money is awful.
Yeah, one of those 300s or something has got to turn up soon.
I know, right? Yeah, this is, you know... I hope Zora is in progression of any real sort, because yikes. Okay, Zora could have her Moon Pearl, so... Okay, Vex, we're gonna go ahead and use that cave to make sure that he doesn't fall down. I respect that. But yeah, only thing we get out of Hera is a crystal. Which we need, so, you know. But no progression items.
Just 17 minutes in.
And a bow at Dark Cross. And that bow is totally in logic with the flippers.
Yeah. And you were talking about that first chest of Castle Tower. It looks like that's exactly where Cine is headed.
Yeah, I like this play from Cine in general.
Immediately putting that bow to good use.
Yeah, killing those guys with fighter sword is god-awful. Okay, it's just arrows. Turtle Rock Small, we need one of those. Hey, look, money!
So that's 3 Turtle Rock Smalls already.
Yeah, enough to beat the dungeon, as long as we don't have to open up the lava chest. There's the Hera Small.
Definitely not what you want to see.
No, not right after you were in the dungeon. And Mitts. Still no Moon Pearl. Is Moon Pearl just sitting, hanging out in Spiral Cave?
It'd be awfully convenient for him. He could just go to the Dark World then.
Well, he can't because he doesn't have the hammer yet. Which, you know, he'll unless the Castle Tower small keys decide to start showing up. I don't see Vex missing the Eastern play for a while. For too long, I should say. And Cine doing his cleanup of that area with bonk rocks and such is going to head up to the mountain.
We did see red mail on Floating Island. I doubt either runner is going to feel the need to go pick that up.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of red mail, and I don't think I'd go that kind of far out of the way to pick up red mail. It's a long trek. Going back to Sanctuary. Not sure. Oh, we got King's Tomb. King's Tomb could have our Moon Pearl. But yeah, Vex might be missing that hammer for a little while longer now that I think about it. He's got those gloves, those mitts. So once he finds the Moon Pearl, he's gonna have Dark World access. But it's not here. So this is probably gonna be either Front of Escape or Eastern. I think either are good choices. This will be Front of Escape. So Vex will get those flippers to put the lamp in logic.
I'll probably go to Dark Cross and get that bow, of course, because
Yes.
that lamp being in logic puts Dark Cross in logic.
Yeah, in fact, he's doing it first. Will also make the Eastern dip feel a little bit better, even though you still can't complete it. You're guaranteed not to have a triple dip Eastern if you have the bow. Cine doing the mountain stuff in a different order, but we'll likely get to... Actually, I'm kind of surprised he didn't go do Hera before Spiral Cave, but with the mirror, it doesn't make a huge difference. Yeah, Vex is also suspicious of this chest that turns out to be an... Oh, no, maybe not.
Oh, he's setting up his mirror spot here.
That's really
clever.
smart. Yeah, that's smart. Always good to have a mirror for these things. There's those flippers, put everything in logic. And even with the 300, our runners are not quite there for Zora money. So our choices, I think as chat pointed out, we have Hera Basement and we have Zora. One of those is probably our next progression. As we're still searching for that moon pearl.
Frankly, there aren't any good locations left.
No. I don't know how... there's also... Have we seen all of the Eastern checks? I'm not sure how far Cine went in. I know he got the hammer.
He did do the dark loop, the vanilla big key chest, that thing.
Okay, so then there's nothing left in Eastern. But a Eastern big key could decide to show up. That's certainly a possibility. Now, Cine already getting that Hera big small key before actually doing Hera is going to be at a slight advantage if the answer is there, because he can just do it after Hera.
And in fact, he probably will, having already done Eastern. He doesn't really...
Yep.
have
He's
anything
got...
else.
Yeah, I mean, your other choice is Zora, and you don't have the money for Zora yet, so... Fortunately, we do have a glove, so we can farm it if we need to. Grab one, go to the 50 rupee cave.
Yeah,
Save
just
and
3
put
trips
back.
through there. That's not going to take forever.
Okay, this will probably be Eastern for Vex, which is good because he'll get his hammer. It's good for Vex to get the hammer before the Moon Pearl, because if he gets the Moon Pearl before the hammer, it might be a while before he goes into Eastern for that hammer. There's that green pendant information for Vex.
Now, Sinhe's going to have a much faster Moldorm fight having that hammer with him.
Yep, and does it without mistake.
Oh, that was the Sankart. Nice.
It's kind of an awful place to get the Sankart, but you know.
Well, it saves you a fraction of a second watching your health refill, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose. I'm just thinking you want it in a place where getting a refill is good. With the mirror, it really doesn't matter too much, but with the mirror, without the mirror, you don't want it in a place where you want a death warp. Definitely fun times when you're setting up for the death warp, and yeah, you just get a refill. Okay, also important that Vex gets that Swamp Small Key. We are gonna get the Hera check. We'll see. Vex is gonna have to choose though. We'll see which choice he makes. And if both locations end up having something, it could get even more interesting.
Alright, we're going to find out in a couple seconds if we need to go to Zora.
Looks like we do. Oh boy.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be so bad if we had some money. Too bad neither runner... Well, I mean, Cine might not have thought of it at the time, but there is a 90 rupee room in Eastern, but it is behind the big key, so it doesn't get us anything right now, or doesn't help us right now.
Wait, Cine can just Houlihan while he's here, right?
He could. I don't know if you could do it in the King's Tomb spot, but he can do it over here, and I think that's exact. No? Okay, that's not what he's doing. But yeah, that's a good call. You can do the bomb into the back of escape. Is one of the common Houlihan setups. There's also a goofy boot setup that he's also not doing. This could be Sick Kid. Oh yeah, and he hasn't done Bottle Vendor.
Oh, that sucks!
Oh,
He needed that
gosh,
money.
yeah. Oh my god. So Vex closer to the money, but he is gonna do the Hera basement first.
You know, if that wasn't a key you needed on Sick Kid, like, would you just reset there?
Yeah. I would. And so Cine is gonna head over to the rupee farm. Which, if you're not confident in doing that bomb into the Houlihan, this is a better answer. It doesn't come up very often.
So he's gonna have to make 4 trips into this cave.
Yeah, it's still gonna be a little bit ahead of Vex going into the Zora check, since Vex is also coming back, and you know, with he wasn't able to do the Hera check the first time, so has to come back for it. Vex will have to farm a little bit less, having already done Bottle Vendor. I'm not entirely sure, because their money looked about the same, and Vex has already spent the money on the Bottle Vendor, so I'm not entirely sure where the disparity came from, but... Or maybe I just didn't see the numbers right. That's certainly possible. We're gonna get Mirror out. Yeah, I was gonna say, it looked like Vex was thinking of doing something else, but there's nothing else he can do, so. We could do a
Okay,
very
Sanguine
out
Guard.
of logic. This is Houlihan, I suspect. I don't know what else he has. He's already done the King's Tomb check. But yeah, you can do it very out of logic Super Bunny Cave with an actual bunny state. It's the term.
Oh, that's why it's called Super Bunny Cave?
It is. Because with mitts and access to the to East Death Mountain, you can get the items without the Moon Pearl. Now, is this going to be the Moon Pearl, or are we going to get further sent on more questing? Because, like, a flute would open up a few things.
You know, that's a very good point.
Nope. That's boring. Just the Moon Pearl.
We've been punished enough at this point.
Yeah, that's fair. Vex not going to be too far behind getting that Moon Pearl, so, no real lead in this race at the moment. And Cine says, I want to see what's on East Death Mountain right now. And with the hookshot, it is 6 items, plus you get to check the Turtle Rock entry. We have a cape if we really want to do Spike Cave. Alright, that'll be a save and quit from Vex. We'll see where he decides to go. I think this will be a immediate hype cave check from Vextifer. I'm a big fan of the immediate hype cave check. 5 very quick items.
And he's only 9 rupees short of pod money, if you wanted to go there next.
Yeah, I don't see pod next with only 2 small keys. You can do a lot with 2 small keys, but you're probably not beating the boss. You don't have a big key yet. I think Thieves Town is the place to go in terms of dungeons.
So that was Quake for a TR entry. Also, Steen had picked up a Master Sword in Super Bunny Cave.
Yep, I can't see Vex for missing that, but, you know, it'll be a nice advantage for a little bit. Canis and Maria in Hype Cave, so we got a good item there. Big key to Mire. We will need that eventually. So, Hookshot Cave, mostly the Mire big key.
Oh, he does want that red mail, after all.
Oh, this is interesting. Vextifer says, I've got all the things for Swamp. I'm just going to do that first.
That's a good point. There is a lot of stuff in Swamp.
Doesn't have the big key. The big key is for exactly 1 item, though. And could just be in GT, even if Swamp is a crystal. Was there also a TR? Apparently there was a TR big key in Hype that we missed. But...
yes, yeah, there was.
Yeah. Thanks, chat.
Oh, we are getting a look here at Spike Cave.
Yeah, I like finishing. Yeah, I like finishing off here. Oh, that fire rod's really nice. That means when Vexfer goes back to Village of Outcasts, he's gonna be able to full clear Skull Woods and full clear Thieves Town. Ooh, that Quake at Spike Cave. That is required for Turtle Rock entry.
It's just buried really far under the doormat.
Yeah, yeah, very far, and to the point where you're not going back to the dungeon to open it. Cine also can do Hype Cave. We'll see if he also goes into Swamp Palace. Now there's that Turtle Rock big key.
So, if Sinhei does decide to go to Swamp, he's going to have just very recently picked up Quake, the TR Big, Samaria, and the Fire Rod. And he could go do everything in TR except for Lava Chest.
Yeah, I don't think he does that right now. But yeah, TR could have a thing. Not asking if you just do ice after Swamp here. You could. With the Fire Rod, it's not that bad. I like it a little better for Cine with the Master Sword, since we don't have a whole lot of extra magic to use the Fire Rod on Cold Stare. There's another Pod Small Key on the left side. Probably not going to matter if Cine misses it, but Pod Small Keys are one of those weird things. Of course, those arrows we just don't care about. Thing is, we also have a full clearable Thieves Town. We have a full clearable Skull Woods. So, like, we have good choices. Like, it's, you know, right before you said we have no good places left to go, we have good places to go now. We have a few of them.
Too many, almost. You know, but having choices is good for us as the audience, because we might see some further divergence.
Yeah, divergence is fun. The big question, of course, is going to be when does Vex get to the mountain, and does he do Spike Cave? My guess is he will, but it's not everybody's favorite check. Well, Cena maybe doesn't do left side. If he misses that Pod Small Key, it could be a factor. Could also just be meaningless. We'll see. So it doesn't necessarily need to do the left side. Alright, is going to do left side. It is faster to do the compass chest that we just saw after it, but at the cost of, you do have to remember that it's there. It's a very easy location to forget if you do it after checking the left side. And whereas Vexford decided to just flood the key, Cine is going to do Diver Down. Pretty certain this is faster as long as you get it first try. Not sure how many tries it would take to make it slower.
Alright, and here's Argus from Vextifer.
Yeah, slightly worse fight because he has to do sword spins. Whereas Sinhei will have the Master Sword, and if he misses a sword spin, can just slash instead. The fight isn't that different, though, because you're not using, you know, it's not like tempered sword slashes. There's that Pod Small for Sinhei.
And that's Argus down for crystal number 2 on Vextifer's side.
And now we just never want to see the Swamp Big Key. just no. I think we're doing ice.
That looks to be the case.
Alright, this is where, again, if I had more magic, this would be much better. That Master Sword makes a bit of a difference because, one, when Cine gets to Cold Stare, he potentially could save some of his magic by doing Sword Beam dupes, assuming he has Sword Beams. But also just makes it done, you know, if you're down to no magic, it's a little bit better to have a Master Sword than a Fighter Sword. I got some sort of Misery Mire item, probably a map or key. I'm not even sure. And we do have the big key, so we can choose to not hit the switch.
Okay, so that wasn't the compass we found for Meyer just a second ago.
No, because we just found it now.
I think it was the map because Sinhei has the big key to Meyer from Hookshot Cave, I think.
Are we going to ice for Sinhei as well? It looks like. No, maybe not. Yeah, okay, this is... Oh, we're gonna check the big bomb. This is so slow. And Jesse and I have talked about this at length, and I have come to his point of view, which is just check your menu, see if you have red crystals. It's a lot faster. We are going maybe to the pod area. That's an interesting choice. Bombos is nice for Vex, because now he can use only a quarter of his magic instead of all of his magic on the first phase. Okay, we are going to ice. Yeah, that the time you lose checking the big bomb, not a fan of it. But yeah, that Bombos will save a good amount of magic for both our runners in the cold stare fight. So you'll have more fire rod shots to finish it off.
Also, something about this rule of fire I've heard about.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Bombos behind fire rod behind Bombos. So I'd say our runners are very even right now. Cine a little bit behind in terms of his location in Ice Palace, but he's got the mountain clear up on Vex, and Vex first still needs to go, at the very least, needs to get that Quake out of Spike Cave. Fortunately, he doesn't need it immediately.
Seems he's electing to hit the switch here.
Yep, that is a choice. Looks like he does have the big key though, so he can choose. There's just different ways of routing iced tea, and I think the ways of routing iced tea are just a little bit cleaner if you don't hit the switch. But of course, if you don't have the big key, you don't have a choice.
Alright, Vexter is going to need to make the most of his 6 fire rod shots, and he does.
Very nicely done.
Expertly done.
If you can get the puffs on the right side instead of the left, on the left side, as we saw Vex do, you can make more use of the splash damage from those fire rod shots to take care of the puffs really quickly. That was a really nice fight from Vextifer. If you have a better sword and you're using sword slashes, typically you'll see the runners will hit the puffs to the right-hand corner. Yeah, see, this is the difference. Cine is going to drop down into the big, tall, icy room to get to Ice Tea and do a handful of bomb jumps to get the rest of the items out of Ice Palace. And I think this is slower in general. But it's a route you would want to use if you had... if you didn't have the big key. Also, sometimes some runners will just always hit the switch because nothing feels worse than forgetting to hit the switch when you don't have the big key and you get down there and you just have to mirror out in shame. So.
Yep, it happens to the best of us.
There's that Bombos for Cine, and Vex gonna go ahead and do Skullwoods here. Full clearable dungeon, we even have the big key, so this makes sense. Logically, we need all 3 small keys. We don't care about that. However, we do have 1 small key, which means we don't have to worry about finding... You need... To clear the dungeon, you need at least 1 of those small keys, or you have to drop down and potentially get soft lock down there. So it's good to have the one small key.
Interestingly, when Vextfer gets this crystal, he will have both the reds and not know it.
You can check his, check your menu. Yeah, and you can see the difference in the, Cena getting the puffs over to the right side. You can kind of see the difference between the use of that fire rod.
Oh yeah.
But he still cleans it up. It's all good. So, ironically, a slightly better cold stare fight from the guy with the worst sword.
Well, the trick is just don't use the sword at all. Well,
yeah, exactly.
One spin.
Looks like Myra was our red pendant. I didn't see enough of that map check otherwise.
So that is 2 pendants we know of. We do eventually need to come back and pull Ped for the GT big key. Bit of a shame we can't do that right now after Skullwoods.
So this is interesting. Remember what you were saying about Turtle Rock?
Yes! Is
This
he
has to-
actually...
This
is interesting.
There's nothing else he could be doing. This has to be Turtle Rock.
This is a play.
I kind of like this. I mean, Turtle Rock might have nothing, and that would be a shame, but... use the advantage of having already gotten that Quake medallion out of an awful spot. Meanwhile, Vextfer gonna clean up Skullwoods. Okay, we got a green bottle to go with our red. That's nice.
Very Christmassy.
The only way this burns Cine is if, like, worst case scenario, beyond, except for the lava chest. Worst case scenario is you full clear this, and there's nothing here. I guess with keys, Go Mode Turtle Rock actually does exist. So, if there's nothing here, Vex potentially gets a much quicker Turtle Rock. That is not what we want to see. Ooh, flute in. That is what we do want to see. Yeah, so we got a Swamp Palace bit key, the first chest in Turtle Rock, which we really don't want to see. Even if there's something there, I don't see Cine going after it soon. But
yeah, that'd be the logical thing to avoid doing.
Yeah, exactly. It's just too far out of the way, really. But yeah, the chat saying worst case scenario is something, of course, yeah, lava chest being the scary part of this play. Wouldn't surprise me if there was just a small key to Turtle Rock in Turtle Rock. That does happen. We had a race earlier this week that had Turtle Rock small key go mode. One runner got it in Turtle Rock, the other one got it in GT. So, like, these things happen.
Oh, I think I remember that one. That was an interesting race.
All right, village checks for Vextifer. Next Turtle Rock chest is arrows. Also, shoutouts to being able to just full clear Thieves Town and not having to worry about the big chest later on.
So nothing terribly interesting in the village so far.
curious to see if Vexfer does some of the Smith chain checks after getting done with this. Okay, there's a big key. Eastern, we need that. Let's see. Let's think about what we do need in terms of items. We might need ether for Misery Mar. We have not seen Misery Mar yet. So item-wise, we're looking pretty good. Vex is gonna want to get that. Oh yeah, gonna want to get these swords here. He could end up missing that sword that's in the Cine just picked up in Mimic Cave if he gets a go mode Turtle Rock. So that becomes an interesting talking point. We need a bunch of big keys. We need the Desert Big Key, because Cine is not missing that Eastern Big Key. We need a Pod Big Key. And we need a Mire Big Key.
I think that one was in Hookshot Cave. Seen
okay. Gotcha. So yeah, so Vex also not going to miss that.
I think we saw some creative routing in the front of Thieves Town there by Vex because he may have forgotten one of the chests and had to go back for it.
I knew it looked kind of funny. Alright, see if Laser Bridge has anything for us. Small key to Skull Woods, that's not interesting.
Oh, and there's the third one in the Thieves Town attic.
I mean, basically means Cine will be able to skip the Gibdo key if he wants. It's nice, you know.
Alright, Sinhei taking that shiny new Tempered Sword into the Trinex fight.
Yeah, it's a good time to get a Tempered Sword. Vex still on Fighter Sword, of note. He's not going to miss the Super Bunny sword, but he very well could miss the Mimic Cave sword, so... Could have drastically different Ganon fights on our hands. Another bottle of green.
And Vextifer probably saw that he has both red crystals when he did that menu check. He seemed to pause for a second.
Yep, probably caught that. See how much faster that is than checking the palm guy.
Well, just 20 rupees on Trinex, but that is another crystal, number 4, and that tells us that Odd is our... Hang on.
Do we know our last minute? Oh, we're about to find out what Thieves is, so even if we don't know, we'll know in a second. That should give us full knowledge once we see this drop, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Alright, yeah, there's no letter on Vex's side, so we'll find out right now. Thieves Town is a pendant. So that'll make Pod our last crystal. Alright, Cine is going to go into the village and do all the things that Vex has just done. With that Tempered Sword, a lot of it's going to be easier.
Vex remembering to activate that flute.
That's kind of important. Question is, does Vex flute away, or does he do, like, Smith Chain or anything like that? I personally would like to know my pendants and crystals. Sorry, my medallions. We already know our pendants and crystals. So I might flute away. But it looks like we're going to do a little more searching out in the dark world here.
Yeah, this makes sense because you can do hammer pegs here, then you can grab the purple chest and take your south route.
Yep. Yeah, you're
It's a
gonna.
shame we don't have the powder yet.
Yeah, we're gonna do the dig game first because the dig game looks cross-eyed at us if we try to bring an A follower here. Yeah, the one thing we're gonna miss, we're not gonna get any of the North Dark World checks, but like Vextifer, I mean, there's a really nice route he could do, if he wants full coverage. Now, of course, it's slow, but after he turns in the purple chest, he could turn in the big bomb, which will get him Pyramid Ledge. He could take that to Catfish, and then he could go to Graveyard Ledge to get all the things, which would be good if there are things in those locations, and maybe not so good if it ends up being a big waste of time. Book is a thing we don't really want. So if Ether Tablet is a thing, that's really bad for Cine. If it's not, then yeah, they're both going to get to Bombos at kind of an equal time.
Yeah, I mean, you're only picking up that book if you're probably doing Smith Chain, and then that's just something you add on to the end after doing the purple chest.
I mean, well, you have to pick it up because it might be something, but, you know, it's... If you're rooting for Cine, you don't want anything to be on Ether Tablet. If you're rooting for Vex, you want something good to be there. If you're rooting for a close race, I think you also don't really want anything there. Can't ditch the purple chest yet because we haven't done K45. Small key for pod. Okay, we still want a few more of those.
Yeah, that's number 5, and if we do a hammer jump, that means we can full clear the dungeon. If we had a big key, which we do not have.
If we had a big key, yeah. Not sure. Not sure whether Vex will go into pod without the big key, but the big key could show up. And there we can go ahead and drop that purple chest, because next time we mirror, we'll be next to the guy, and he will think we still have it, and give us the item. Nothing of consequence in the purple chest, just a heart container. Meanwhile, Cine has gotten all the stuff out of Skull Woods, including that important flute. Let's see what Bombos has for us. I'm not sure what that refers to. I think it's a map, maybe?
Did not catch what that said.
Yeah, it said you can find your way home.
Might be a compass.
Yeah, it might be a compass. It's not anything we need to come back for.
Yep, and he gets to save some time by not watching the animation.
What was on Bumper Ledge?
Silvers.
Oh, okay. That's an item that's Vex probably misses, honestly. Unless depending on whether he does his full loop of coverage. We could very well be Tempered Silvers versus Master Sword Spins. Pick that up, or okay. Wasn't sure if, I don't think that was on purpose. There is some shenanigans you can do, bomb duping. You'll see some runners do.
Yeah, I think he was trying to dash after taking damage there from
he's gonna do it. He's gonna do the bomb dupe here. So you want the 0 to happen while you're in this screen transition, and the bomb will magically reappear. And all the 300s appearing after we don't need them anymore. As Graveyard Ledge has just 300. There's just a map on the Pyramid Ledge. At this point, we don't really need maps. That's too far to go out of the way for a map anyway, I think. Nothing in the
nothing
Pyramid
useful
Area. And we're gonna go ahead and mirror and flute away here, I think, yeah. And we'll check the mire area. And we need bombos for the mire, for Misery Mire, which means Vex can go in, but unfortunately he doesn't have that big key yet, so may choose not to go in. And bottle number 4.
3 of them had green potions in them.
I mean, we're in a really good place if we run out of magic now. This could be very bad for Vex if he decides to dip Mire without the big key.
And even worse if he follows it up with dipping Desert without the big key.
Well, Desert without the big key is not too bad, because unless there's something in the big chest, you're just not going. And there's that 4th Turtle Rock small key. So we're going to be able to see Lava Chest on Vex's side. If he...
That could be important.
Yeah, if he isn't in go mode by the time he gets there. Chooses not to go into Desert or Mire. And in fact, the Desert is only, what? It's the torch check and the map check, so, or the whatever that middle chest is. There's only 2 items you can get out of Desert anyway, so it makes sense to go ahead and do this mountain play now. There's the big key for Eastern for Cine. And good news for Vex, that Ether Tablet check available with the book is going to incentivize him to do Spike Cave. Yeah. Now, Vex is hoping that he can just open this with Bombos. He's not going to be able to do that. We know it's Quake, Ether Medallion, not needed. In fact, item-wise, we have all the items we need. We're just missing some big keys. We're missing the Desert Big Key, which could decide to just be hanging out in GT. And we're missing the Pod Big Key, which will not be hanging out in GT. But I imagine after we see our runners finish their respective dungeons, I think Mire's the logical next play.
Yep. 8 items available, because this is Key Sanity, which is a lot more than the usual 2.
Yeah, Mire's a terrible dungeon in regular modes. There's that Master Sword for Vex.
At 1 hour and 2 minutes, he finally is off that fighter sword.
Yeah. Yeah, if there was a good way to get back from Spike Cave to Turtle Rock, I could definitely see Vexford going into Turtle Rock. But Spike Cave is, yeah, there are some CrossKeese situations where you leave Spike Cave. Nobody leaves Spike Cave in regular non-entrance modes. So our first big moment coming up here was on this Ether Tablet. Just 10 arrows, so Cine not missing anything. If we do get a search, yeah, oh, absolutely, yeah. If you're already going to Ether Tablet, there's no reason not to do this. But yeah, if I mean, Cine might check that location if we're going into GT looking for a Desert Big Key. But even if that happens, it's not going to be a huge time loss. There's that Quake for Vex. So, yeah, I imagine... I still think Meyer first, but I could see him just going into... He's got all 4 small keys. This won't tell us until we see if he takes a flute out. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so we're gonna find out about... So the good part about this for Vextifer, at the very least, is it means he'll get the Tempered Sword. There's not a whole lot else hanging out in Turtle Rock, though. Unless there's something in the lava chest, which would be very bad for Sine if that is the case.
Yeah, that's for sure. Now, Sine, when he goes to Meyer area, is able to full clear
He's just
Meyer.
he's just gonna do Meyer.
Yeah.
Might do a dip into desert afterwards as well, because he'll be running out of things to do. We'll see if he chooses to do smiths, etc. Yeah, he's just leaving. So he's gonna save time not turning in smiths and stuff like that. So, assuming nothing on lava chest, which is really not a safe assumption. I would just put Sine a little bit ahead. He's done, you know, because he's basically a Turtle Rock ahead. Now, if there's nothing in Meyer, or if we don't get all our things in Meyer, Sine maybe goes back and does some of the smith stuff that Vex has already done. And then we get back into a relatively level playing field.
Yeah, that sounds like a reasonable assessment of the situation.
We also have Eastern we can finish up, and a whole lot of pod available. Could just be a pod big key hanging out in pod.
Could even be vanilla if it wanted to.
Or could. Now we don't, I mean, logically we need one more small key for that to happen, but not a big deal. And there's that swamp big key for Vex. No one wanted to see. We're getting close to another moment of truth on Vex's first side.
We are going to see cutscene chest in Meyer.
Yeah, with this being a pendant, I like this a little bit better because the fact that the Meyer Smalls could still be in GT doesn't really affect the logic. Whereas in if this were a crystal, all it takes is one of those Meyer Smalls being in GT and this just can't be anything useful.
Oh, Vextifer remembering he wants to go get lava chest. And
I
the
mean,
key.
he would
He
need
have to
the
go here
yeah,
anyway.
he needs the key regardless. So like, it's just maybe he got used to go moding Turtle Rock in some of his practice seeds. I don't know. Okay, big moment coming up. And it's just a heart piece, so ends up being just a time loss for Vex for having that small key, which is a little unfortunate for him, but yeah, and chat pointing out that you could skip that key. In a Gomo situation, you could skip that key if you're not full clearing the dungeon. There's our 6 pod small between our 2 runners. Seeing it picking it up in the big chest in Meyer. Now I'm gonna guess that our pod big is just sitting there in pod somewhere. We're just kind of running out of other locations. There's a castle tower small. That opens up an item that we don't want to do. There's Tempered for Vex. Yeah, this Turtle Rock is kind of a good news, bad news for Vextifer, I think, because he could have waited on it, as we know. But if he had waited on it, I don't think he gets that Tempered Sword. And we don't know where the 4th sword is.
Well, of course it's in Swamp, right? In the big chest, because
Yeah. Always a sword in the swamp, right? But what have we gotten out of Meyer? Just another pot small?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. I mean, we're running out of things we need, so it kind of makes sense that that Meyer might not have anything. As we're just looking for 2 big keys. We were looking for the Desert Big and the Pod Big. The Desert Big could just be in Ganon's tower.
Alright, Cine putting those silvers to work against Vitreous. And he is done with that fight.
It's nice to have silvers on Vitreous. And a useless Ether Medallion, because why not? Alright, now Cine has choices to make. He's gonna do the rest of these checks. I don't think a desert dip would be a terrible thing. It is only 2 items though, like we said earlier.
And yeah, two fairly quick checks.
Could full clear, could finish up Eastern. Could do a whole lot of pod. Could do the rest of like the Smith Chain and Pyramid Fairy and all that stuff. The only thing left overworld-wise that I think we just have Catfish left. Cine covered the North Darkworld checks. Vex covered the Smith Chain and like Pyramid Fairy. So between the two, we got silvers out of Bumper Ledge, and that was it.
It's also random fetch quests if those items turned up. Mushroom, powder, shovel.
Yep.
So just a piece of heart on the Desert Torch.
Alright, nothing in Desert in the 2 items we can get to. I mean, Cat asking about Cena getting TR4. I mean, you're concerned about it. You're not going back there. You're just gonna pretend it doesn't exist and move on. Okay, this is probably Pyramid Fairy. Maybe Pyramid Fairy into Pod. And Vex gonna go ahead and do Misery Mire. Also makes sense for him. Cena hoping to find that Pod Big Key before heading into Pod. We are running out of places for it to be that isn't Pod. For a moment, we're not going to get anything new. We'll see where... I think we're going to see some Pod next, though. And, you know, you could mirror and do Eastern first. And then do the Pod stuff. You have to do the Eastern stuff anyway.
Yeah, and there's an off chance that you'll get the big key you're looking for.
I think Catfish may be the only not Pod location we have left at this point. Oh, we're gonna do the... Okay, I am proven wrong immediately. We have another Castle Tower check. And this is a good time, good as any time to do it.
Yeah, you're never going to be closer than you are right now. Except when you go to fight Ganon, but you wouldn't want to come in here looking for an item at that point.
Wait, I hope not. I mean, you could come in here looking for a sword. That kind of thing has happened, but yeah. I don't believe Vex had that second castle tower, or sorry, had that first castle tower key before being here. And it's just a compass, so not going to be missing anything. Not going to pod, okay? We're fluting away.
Is fluting to 5 faster than just walking?
Probably from castle tower. I think because you've already mirror transitioned. I'm sure someone in chat could tell me better exactly what is faster from there. If you're just going from Pyramid Fairy into the Dark World, it's probably faster to just run rather than get out, mirror, get out the flute to 5, etc. Not asking for a vanilla pod. Big key. Could happen. Yes, there's that Castle Tower small key, so Vex didn't have that option. So he probably never goes there, but that's fine. And Vex, for not having those silvers, is not gonna have as good a Vitreous fight. We'll probably use NMG strats or possibly use the cape.
I like seeing cape strats against Vitreous.
Or fun with Gold Sword. It's the one fight where like Gold Sword plus cape just is so good on Vitreous. Tempered, less so.
Oh, that was a little dangerous.
Yeah, we're fine though. This is fine. Vex up that scary lightning shot. Vex was doing a nice job on the Vitreous. Gets the useless Ether Medallion. We'll see what he does. Maybe he probably just flew straight to pod at this point because he's already done the Pyramid Fairy check. Now we did not find anything in Eastern, but we'll move on into pod with our 6 pod keys. Actually, looks like we have 5 tracked on Cine's side. I imagine. Oh, we're gonna get the desert check from Vex from the front, which here it doesn't really make a difference. Yeah, he's got 5 small key. I'm not sure which key he's missing compared to what Vex has. Maybe something on the Smith chain. But with the hammer jump, he's still gonna be able to full clear this dungeon, whereas Vex could choose to skip the hammer jump. So Vex gonna be slightly more than an Eastern behind, because he'll probably go ahead and do pod Eastern at this point.
That appears to be the case.
And Yorker's wife, our wonderful tracker today, agrees probably the Smith chain for that missing pod key. Big shout outs to Yonker's wife for doing the tracking for us. Trackers always our MVPs. And we get Powder. Here's one of our fetch quests. But,
Yeah,
Powder...
fun.
Powder's the best item to find of those because at least it has other uses, right? You know? And maybe the least out of the way one, of course, is the mushroom turn-in, but shovel's the worst. Like it's out of the way and it doesn't do anything else.
Except when you're like desperately needing one bomb or something.
Yeah.
And you have, some
Yeah.
ground
Yep.
to pick up.
Yeah. Or the infamous digs in front of GT for arrows to do to do your climb. So far, pod with nothing but that powder. Makes me wonder if we have a required pod double dip here with that powder being our big key. No, we're not quite halfway done with the checks, so it's still... Actually, we're exactly halfway done with the checks we can do, because the big chest we cannot do, and we can't do Helma.
If the powder does have the pod big, it would be French vanilla.
Yeah, there you go. There is... Yeah, geez, there's a surprise. Pod
Nice.
big key in pod. To no one's surprise.
So it's just the Desert Big now for Go mode, huh?
We need a Desert Big. We are in GT mode, as an aside, which meaning that we can rush GT and go get our big key there.
In fact, GT is by far the most dense location we have.
I mean, I think otherwise we have, we have some more checks in pod. It could be hanging out here, and we have catfish. If anyone can think of another location that we haven't done, I want to say that's it. Reminder, this is almost all dungeon keys, which means we don't have to do castle tower necessarily. We do need to get all our pendants to grab the big key off of the pedestal. Oh, yes. Yes. Chat reminding me we have a Swamp Palace big key. Also, where were silvers? They were on Bumper Ledge. Vexter hasn't done any of the North Dark Roll checks. We do have Thieves Town big chest. We did have the Thieves Town. We had all the stuff for Thieves Town big chest at the time, so... so yeah, it's outside of Pod and GT we have... So outside of Helma and GT, because that's all we have left in Pod. We have Catfish, Swamp Palace big chest, and I believe that is it. Vex hasn't checked the second item in Castle Tower. Cine doesn't have the lava chest out of Turtle Rock. I don't see either one of them going for those locations.
Oh yeah, how could we forget Magic Bat?
Yeah, we have Magic Bat. And of course, Mushroom or Shovel could show up as well, but... Oh, and Cine also has all of the Smith Chain to do.
And that is almost Helma down. there we go.
One more swipe of the sword.
A lot of explosions and some bombs come out of it. But that is crystal number 7, and that gives us access to GT, where we could have our Desert Palace big key.
I think that's gotta be where he goes next. Now, He's got other locations, like, you know, because we're in this little, you know, we've seen between the two Randos, we've seen most of the locations, but not all the locations. So yeah, and this is going to be the GT play from Cine, which just puts him in, I think, a fairly commanding lead. I'm trying to think, the out for Vex is he doesn't go to GT and it's the answer. It just seems so unlikely because at this point we just have so few locations left that aren't GT.
Yeah, and in his case, he doesn't even have like clusters like Smith Chain. It's
Yeah.
Castle Tower, Swamp, Big Chest, Magic Powder.
I could see the argument for checking the Magic Powder. It's not that slow, but it also, you know, may not be the answer. If the answer is GT, then he's just behind by quite a bit. Now, if it is just GT, Cine's next play would probably be Smith South, Smith Chain, where Vex has already done that and probably does more North Vex. We'll get him silvers, but he'd have to take it all the way Catfish and get there first. And assuming that was even the answer. I mean, I guess we could do a desert big key hunt in chat if y'all want. With 0 meaning it's just not here.
Oh, the net, just in time for Aga 2.
Ugh. And CNA's just gonna go ahead and do tile room, it looks like. Is he? Yeah. Also of note, we have all 4. Yeah, we have all 4 GT small keys. And we got the 2 extremes in chat, 22, which won't be tile room in this case, plus 0, which is it's just not here.
Now I want to kind of see which chest gets honored with the big 22.
Well, he has to full clear for that to happen, which would be, you know, it could be interesting. Don't get grabbed. It's a mushroom.
Somebody called it. Yep.
That would be that'd be like 23. You know, you get the mushroom and. Too bad we can fake powder with the mushroom, but we can't fake mushroom with the powder. Yeah, it was actually really interesting because I was watching a race where the commentators are saying, have we had any required GTs yet? And every seed I've called, and there's the other fetch quest. I mean, it had to be somewhere, right? Every seed I've called has had either a hard required item in GT, a logically required item GT, and in one case, we never found the Tower of Hera Big Key, but there was very few places that were not GT basement for it to be. And it was a pendant Hera, so every seed I've dealt with has basically been at least a logically, if not a hard required GT.
Interestingly, both the other races I did not have required GT, but they had some absurd key chains at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm. All right, Vex also going to head over to GT. This is not a surprise.
Oh, there's our item counter.
Oh, wait.
It's desert.
There it is. Desert. There it is. So Vex could save a little bit of time if he goes to the left first. Chat saying I make GT required. I'd say make it logically required. Come on. Not all those seats had a hard required big key or a hard required item in GT.
So all we need to do is clear desert, remember to go get the big key from head, and then climb the tower.
I have not seen that happen yet. I did predict that somewhere in the 96 matches of open and invitational, somebody would make that mistake. More likely off stream than on. I have not seen it happen yet.
So as Vextfer enters GT, Sinhei will almost be entering the Lanmo fight.
Yeah, see which way he goes first. He's good chance he saves at least a little bit of time not doing tile room. That was a little bit of a surprise, just a little bit surprised to see that. Yeah, so Vex gonna gain a little bit of time back, but not enough, especially without those silvers. Silver's not a huge difference, but like if the runners were reversed in their positions, I don't think silvers would be enough to catch up with. But if you're already behind and you don't have silvers, that's not a winning combination, unfortunately, for Vex to
Oh, for sure.
All right, we got the flute to 3. We're gonna pick up the big key. There's the desert big for Vextfer. He'll mirror out and flute away.
Alright, that's the big key for Sinhei, and he is heading back to GT.
Like Sinhei is gonna go up in the dark world, which is, as often stated, optimally you're better off in the light world, but you have to be optimal about it. And it's nice to avoid those dead rocks. So.
Yep. I mean, you could take the time to powder them if you wanted to,
That's
but
slow. All right, so Vex is gonna have to do this with the fire rod. Also gonna point out, we never found the small key, which is logically required. I'm gonna make the assumption that that is also somewhere hanging out in GT basement.
Yeah, makes sense. Also, where's our half magic? And our gold sword? And our mirror shield?
I would say they're all in GT basement. We're not gonna see any of them. Also never found a cane of Burna. Sinhei missing the books that also managed to save a little bit of time and not doing any of the book checks. Not that they took that much time for Vex. Like, the bigger deal was just Smith Chain versus North Dark World. North Dark World was faster, and it got Sinhei silvers.
Okay, that Spike is playing games. But he's through the mimics, and he just needs 4 silvers to kill Ganon.
Not sure what that sound was on the big key pick up there for Vex on the ped pickup. That was kind of funny.
Yeah, it's a little jarring.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. Oh, we got one. Apparently there was a pod binky in Tyler room in another race. That's awful. Because like some runners will legit full clear GT but not do Tyler room. Meanwhile, Cine almost done with the gauntlet. That's a different setup for Landwell. I like it. There's a ton of
done.
there's a ton of good setups for Landwell, but I've yet to see what I would call the end all be all perfect setup for Landwell. They're just super easy to do and for Landwell too. I like that one though. That one looked cool. I mean, swag does count for something, right?
Yeah, especially when you're putting on a show for all our lovely viewers.
Let's see if Cine decides to check any of these. I imagine not. We have 5 small keys to GT. I love it. Could get a 6th one right here if you wanted.
There's a limit. There's a limit to the amount of swag you can reasonably do, I guess.
Well, there's also, this isn't one of the, I forget which, there's a team with fluff in their name. Too bad Jossie's not here Jossie knows all the team names. Would be able to identify that name immediately. This is not a fluff team.
Not even opening validation chest.
No, doesn't care. I mean, heck, I often, even if I'm in, full go mode there, I often just pick, muscle memory open that. Is that the team name? Fluff around and find out? I think that's right. Yeah. Thank you, Forgotten Wolf. Alright, Aga 2. So we got a 2-1. Ugh, stupid blue balls.
Just 2 more hits. And oh no, not quite.
2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
There we go.
We're through. It's fine.
Just as Vexor takes out the Landmos.
Yeah, I mean that's got to be so nerve-wracking when you're up there and you're not having the Aga 2 that you want to have, and your opponent's got to be coming. Alright, Ganon fight.
I like to see they pause there politely to give Ganon a second to collect himself for phase 2.
Alright, very good 1-1 there. Just now needs to fire, let the L's fall out, and then we'll fire a couple 4 silver shots. And Vex wants to check these chests. Doesn't really get anything out of it. Probably looking for silvers. We know they're not here. Could land up with a sword, though. We don't know where the 4th sword is.
Well, finally Ganon stays still long enough to... Oh! That's the wrong way.
Oh, that last shot was a little bit too late to get the early shot in, but that's okay. We'll fire... We'll just have to do it a couple more times and we'll be good. Oh, gets the 3rd sword in just before the torches go out. Nice. And was able to get double out of it, so... That'll make up for the missed shot in the early shot. So get your GGs in chat. Sinhei will take this one. We'll cross that bridge with an official race time of 1:38.56, giving 12 points for the CrossKeese. That puts him at 4-2.
Oh, nice double there by Vextifer. Is it just me, or does that hookshot sound a little infuriating after a while?
There may have been some rage behind those hook shots. Oh no.
Yeah, that's understandable.
As you know, it's, as someone that doesn't race a lot on a restream situation, but does race, seeing a finish that close to being done, not the best thing ever. Good start to the Ganon fight for Vextifer as well. But we'll have to do 12 sword spins to finish it out. We'll get the news that the silver arrows were in the Dark World, which I think for him is Bumper Ledge and Catfish. We never did see Catfish.
Yeah, I can't think of... Well, I mean, Graveyard Ledge was part of, I guess, the Bumper Ledge.
No, no, not Graveyard Ledge. Bumper Ledge. I said Graveyard Ledge, didn't I? Yeah.
No, you said Bumper Ledge, but
Oh, but yeah, but if it said Light World, it can't be in
Oh,
Graveyard
right,
World.
that's in the Light World. Ah,
Yeah.
yes.
Yep,
Good point.
Yep. So we'll get to have some fun with sword spins instead. And Vex will show off his ability to do that. Did get the torch glitch, which is, while not necessary, certainly preferable.
I don't think we've touched any of our potions. Still got the 3
Nope.
greens.
No, he hasn't, but I saw an empty bottle on Sinhei's side that I assume he used it somewhere that we missed.
I don't remember if he used his red in Spike Cave or if it was somewhere else.
Hmm.
I've been vexed for putting together some nice triples here.
That's exactly what you want in this. Yeah, chat saying it was for Spike. Unfortunately, you don't want Ganon to turn silver like that. Okay, there we go. Or blue, whatever color that is. Alright, Vexker gonna finish this off with an official race time of 1:42.19. Get your GGs for Vexfer. Very well played. Yeah, again, the biggest difference, just that Smith chain just not paying out at all for Vex doing that and just losing time. It's not a quick set of checks. Sinhei having done the North Dark World checks, which are a little bit faster, and did get silvers out of it. And the silvers don't save a ton of time; just save a little time in Vitreous and the Ganon fight at the end. A little bit on, like Armos Knights, but, if you could do an Armos quick kill, it's not that big a deal. Just little bits here and there. Not sure if... looks like we do have... Looks like that's Vextifer joining us. Yep. GG's, Vex.
GG's.
Yeah, I mean... I don't know if you just heard what I was just saying.
Oh yeah, no,
yeah,
I said you didn't do Smith chain. Like I just lose. I almost didn't do it. I was like, ugh.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
kind of the only reason I followed through with it is because I didn't. So I did swamp straight into ice, right? And then I was like, okay, well, I'll just go finish skull down the whole chain. So I
Yep.
didn't have Stumpy or anything, and I was like, all right, well, I'll do it that way. And
Mhm.
I think if I hadn't done that, I probably wouldn't have done Smith chain.
That's fair.
But I just had kind of committed. I honestly, you could probably make up almost the entirety of the difference in me being a dummy and not getting Zora before trying to do tile room up in Hera, because that alone was like a
Yeah,
long.
yeah. I mean, you both did it in that order. It just he had done Hera a lot later than you, and also had done the East Death Mountain stuff, so had the small key and was already there to just do it then.
Yeah,
And for you, it was like you had the two bad choices. Do I farm money for Sora? Do I get the Hera basement? And they're both kind of awful.
I mean, in hindsight, I 100% should have farmed money for Zora, because that, I mean, if I had done that, that would have gotten me Quake immediately, right? And so I would have known I could get into TR, right? Because I would have had Moon Pearl going up towards Hera.
I see. So you're wishing you did it like way earlier. I gotcha.
Yeah, I wish I had done Zora right before I went back up for Hera, right? Because then I would never have gone up the mountain a separate time. It was just like an extra trip for no reason.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
plus that whole tile room. If I hadn't, like, if I had done Zora first, I almost certainly wouldn't have ever done tile room the whole game.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense, because when you did it, it's like, okay, which awful choice do I do? Whereas, if you'd had the Moon Pearl already, then you've got like the entire world available to you.
Yeah, I think I was worried the whole time when I had all of Dark Death Mountain available after I got the Moon Pearl and Zora, because I was like, oh my god, it would be so easy to just have had Moon Pearl your first trip up the mountain to do all the mountain. So you get the Mire Big, and then you're and Quake, so you just know you're good to go.
Yeah,
right, and that probably would have pushed me away from some of the overworld that I did. But
that's fair. But you know what they say, like it's easy to make those decisions after, right?
Oh yeah, no, Rando be Rando.
It was such a bad money seed too. Like, like you both had, like you did the Houlihan and he did the 50 rupee cave just to get to Zora money. You just, there's not a lot you can do. When that situation comes up, it just makes Zora such a bad location.
I mean, you start the game with like not enough money for no matter what you do, without enough money for bottle merchant. So you're like, I'm like, I gotta do Blind's Hut twice or do 3 wells. Or just leave it. I guess I could have left it, but
yeah, he did it later with Sick Kid Check, but still pre-Moon Pearl, so you know.
That bottle vendor though, you go out of your way to get money for him, and then he just scams you.
I know.
No, every time.
Terrible.
No. Yeah, no, I like AD keys. This is the one of the seeds where I'm just kind of like, the reason I don't like AAD keys is because seeds. Anytime there's a pendant anything in GT is the reason I would rather just play AD keys, because I would have rather just climbed and been done.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, I as for the hybrids, I like this better because I got really tired of seeing Castle Tower for nothing with the faux.
Oh yeah, I 100% like this better than Fat Keys, but I don't know that I just play AD
the
keys.
Occasional Castle Tower key hunt is not the worst thing in the world.
It's not that different from a medallion hunt or like a big key hunt.
Yeah, there you go.
It's about the same.
All right. Well, anything else you got for us before we go ahead and close things out? It looks like Cine is not going to join us, but GG's to him as well.
Yeah, that's okay. No, I was just trying to draw the interview out because I can hear my wife. She's like getting ready to change a diaper, and I really don't want to. So
we could draw it out a little bit longer if you like.
No, we're done. We're done. I'm not gonna be a bad man.
But yeah, anything else you want to add besides tales of dirty diapers?
Oh man, I got stories. No, just GG. Thanks for the restream. Thanks for volunteering.
All right, yeah, you're very welcome. And
GG's to Sinhi if they're watching.
Yeah, GG's to you, and good luck on the rest of the season.
Yep, thanks. We're gonna need it because
you got time. But
Yeah,
yeah,
we're
good,
not even
good luck.
halfway through the weeks yet. You can
Yep.
recover.
Yeah, maybe if we practice.
Do you practice? I mean, the answer,
I
no
try.
answer is fine. You know?
I pretend to practice.
That's fair.
Nah, Aaron's pretty busy with some moving and stuff
Mhm.
like that, and so he really hasn't had a lot of time. I think John's pretty much done. So
I
that's
hope you
our
guys
practice.
I hope you guys are having fun, regardless.
I'm having fun.
See,
I
that's the
always
most
have fun.
That's the most important thing.
Plus, I get to give Aaron like a ton of crap for just like not looking at Desert Ledge. That's gonna like be weeks and weeks of ragging on him. It's gonna be great.
Sounds like more fun. All right. Thanks again, Vex, and again, good luck moving on. We do have, this is the last race for today. We have 3 races scheduled for tomorrow to close out week 3. For those of you that are up in the early morning, or for those of you that are in Europe, we have a 7:10 a.m. race between the Spoilers and the Last Locationeers. That's Shady Force versus Scottish Brave. At 10 o'clock, we have, in the a.m., we have the other race between those two teams. In this case, it'll be Zelda-san for the Spoilers and Zen Arcane for the Last Locationeers. And then at 5 o'clock, 5:10, that'll be Noble Foxes versus Begone Pot, Obscure Lifeform versus T-Stew to wrap up week 6 in the almost AD keys, almost all dungeons key sanity. But yeah, that's going to pretty much do it for us. Blue Ink, this is our second time. A pleasure.
Yeah, for sure.
And of course, Yoinker's wife, our Tracker. Tracker's always our MVPs. Huge shout outs to her. And yeah, we'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Well, some of us will see you. I think I'll still be asleep. But enjoy the rest of the races this week.
Yeah, thanks everyone for joining us, and have a good rest of your day.